Guys, welcome to India today. I'm super excited because the minute I turn to my right and the minute I turn to my left, all of my childhood is playing in front of me. It gives me sheer goosebumps to just look at this poster, look at Senapati, see his gestures, the way his hair is flipping over his face, the dialogues, each and every moment in the trailer, and then to have Shankar sir, Kamal sir, and Siddharth here with me. It's an absolute honor. I want to time travel a bit and take us back to 95, 96 and ask you, do you remember your first shot for Indian and first day on set, and what was it like?
Oh, it was very exciting and emotional for me. My father had died a few years back, and some of my village people, his old friends, had come to visit. It's a sheer coincidence. And I was dressed as Senapati, and we were testing it the first time. So I was late to the set by a couple of hours because we didn't have a time schedule as to how long it's going to take. They were all waiting. And so were the people who came down from my village. The moment they saw me, they got emotional. They started touching my feet because they remembered my father. I was emotional. So that's how day one started for me. The inauguration, the first he was doing a shot in a government office, a police station, where I come to. So I remember it so vividly. We had propellers to simulate wind, and later it's going to rain. He's running around for his daughters admitted into the hospital.
Yeah, the main thing is like the character was designed in such a way we have took his father's photo, his father's pictures and sir's pictures and sir's two brothers' pictures, friend profile, all put together. Our production designer Tota Tarnino, he got the national award for that film. So by all his father's pictures and brothers' pictures, he designed that character first. That is the reason his relatives know they've become
that's
people
imagine
from
that memory is going to stay with you forever.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, there's nothing like that that's ever happened to an actor. Siddharth, I want to ask you if you could be a fly on a wall of a Kamal Hassan film from the past. Like I have a few. I mean, I want to be a fly on all of his films to just see how his work ethic is. How does he get in character? What's the film that you would choose if you got a chance to time travel?
I didn't want to be a fly on the wall when he's working, but I got to learn that for free by actually working with him. And so I think the best way to work with Kamal sir is to get into the action and not watch, because he pushes you. And on Hindustani, every day on set for us working with him is an education. And I won't say that it was all him and we were just watching. We all had our jobs to do. So my job was what Shankar sir had given me is to play my character, and my love and adoration and awe for him should not get in the way of that performance. So that's what I have focused most on.
But how does one do that? Like just
it's my job. Yeah, I get paid for it, so I have to do it. So and it's through that what I've learned from him, and just being on this set, because Hindustani as a film, just like you're speaking about your childhood, it's a very important part of a lot of our years growing up. And to be on a film that talks about being zero tolerance to corruption and speaking about the common man and all of that, I got to see the anger that still lies in Shankar sir's pen and his direction and sir's craft, because their concern and their anger is what they channel into this film. So for me to be a very interesting character on that set was a real dream come true, and it's an unforgettable experience. And this particular character, again, I told Shankar also, it's the closest I may have come to my original self in a character. So
and that's the best thing an actor could want in a way, also to sort of.
Yeah, but again, it's what Kamal sir has always shown us, that you should be the furthest away from your actual self. That's what good act. You go away and you become something. You become another living person. So it was very helpful that it's similar to me, but the scale of the film and the scope of the performance is very large. And you have, like you said, you have to act in front of Kamal sir. So it was a full plate, and I really relished it. I really never forget it.
Shankar sir, he made a very interesting point about the pen and the writing, and the fact that all of your films and the characters that you've done so far, whether it's Hindustani 2, whether it was the first Indian, they always have some sense of strife and struggle that the character goes through. You're also saying a lot of things through characters, subplots. They're not just there for the sake of it to decorate the canvas, right? Social messaging is such an important theme through most of your films. Sometimes you do it subtly, sometimes you do it blatantly, it's very in your face, but it is there. And you leave it to the audience to take it home when they leave the theaters. You're not shoving it down their throats, right? Where do you draw that from? Because it's been consistent in most of your work.
See, because I am from a very lower middle class family, so I have gone through everything. As a student, when I joined my college, and all, I'm going through everything, and I'm seeing everyone's sufferings. Like a common man angry and frustration, and what they want and what they're missing and all. No, so all collectively coming into my mind when I write a script. So that's what you are seeing in the movie. Like, it's not only me. It's we can say it's the same for every common man, or a collective angry or collective frustration is reflecting in my script.
That's a good insight into what you're doing. I mean, that's absolutely terrific. Kamal sir, I have to say that you absolutely take to a challenge and you throw it at me and I'll go for it. I feel that's sort of, you're always hungry for something new. You sort of maybe get bored with something similar. You're pushing people, you're pushing everybody in your team, you're pushing filmmakers to write better, try and throw things at you. What does it take to sit on that chair? Because you've been sitting on that chair for so long, for so many hours, when you've been taking on so many prosthetics. What goes through your mind is one, and what do you do in that time? Like, I'm just curious to know, like, it could be 3 hours or 2 hours for Chachi, 420 from then to now. You've had so many avatars, right?
I learned calm. That's my meditation, I think, not to have a nervous tick, literally, because that impedes work being done. But while I'm being on that subject, I'll have to jump subjects a bit. You asked about the anger in the pen and all that. And he said one word, collective anger. Being non-specific is general practice. In medicine also you have a GP, and then you have a specialist who comes in. He is a specialist in this theme. And he is not just saying angry young man. He says that angry young man has become old, and this is what makes him angry. Precise what the problem is. And when you get something like that, it's good preparatory work already done for me. I just have to sit in the chair and get the makeup done.
You're making it sound so easy, especially that last line that you said, but it is literally, you're transforming yourself. It takes a toll, does it, in some way? And how do you then let go? Because you have so many characters, right, from Appu Raja to Chachi 420. How do you switch on, switch off? How do you do that?
It's not switch on, switch off. It's always on. So you just choose the particular faculty that you have and use it. But I was just talking, I think, here or some other place. There is a twilight zone where yourself and the characters cross. It's a bizarre moment. It happened to me when there's a sequence with Mr. Nedumudi Venu, whom I admire a lot, and he died through the shooting. So we had a little bit left. So we used another person, but I'll have to pretend as if I'm talking to Nedumudi Venu. And he had a shot where I'm hugging that character. And I got lost for a moment because I don't know who was crying for who. That's very rare, especially for me. That happened only in a film like Sadma. I know there's no train because in that shot, and there's no Sridevi going away. It's just me, the camera, and the pillar. It's mathematical. But emotions are happening in one side, and these calculations are happening on one side. Sometimes you're not in control. And that happened to me in this movie because of Nedavudi Venu. It's a new lesson that I learned. You can delve into your own psyche and bring out something which will surprise you as much as it surprises the audience.
Wow. Sid, as he's throwing light on this mastery and he mentioned such a special moment for him, what did you unlearn? Because as actors, you also unlearn a lot as you move from a project to the other. As a person, you imbibe so much, right? What's the one thing that you unlearned during the making of this film?
No, I can only compare it to it's my second experience with Sir, and on two very different films. Boys is nothing
Totally
like
different.
Hindustani 2. Boys is a completely different Shankar spectacle from Hindustani 2. For me, learning and unlearning is secondary. The first thing is doing the job you've been given. So, in terms of how Sir's direction is being given to me, my ability to receive it is something I work on a lot, because cinema ultimately is not one person's medium. I mean, the director is in control, but each individual person has to depend on other people to receive. So, whether it's Kamal sir who's playing a character opposite me, or it's my director who's given me something to do, I have to understand what he wants, and that something is a work in progress. You can never say you know all of it, because then one director will come and speak to you in a way you don't understand. It's not their job for you to understand them. It's your job to understand them and receive the character that they're gifting you. And so yeah, in this film for me, it was like I said, this is the closest to my real persona that I've done. So the fact that it came from somebody else's pen, but it's like me, is why it's like me. It's not like me because I want to play him like myself. Right?
It's written that.
Yeah, so I learn and unlearn the same things, which is better communication with my writer and filmmaker, and better communication with my co-actors.
Right. On the poster, there are these two words, and I like how the O has a bullseye to it. There's a reason why there's a bullseye to it. It says zero tolerance. Again, like he threw a light on the fact that when it comes to your writing, there's a very specific path that the character is taking. What's the one thing that you three have zero tolerance for, if I had to ask you at this point in time?
Yeah, as a character of Senapati, he can't take anything wrong. So he can't forgive anything. If it is wrong, means wrong. For example, in the Hindustani part 1, even if his son, if he do some mistake, he can't tolerate or he won't forgive. He killed even his son. So we can call it that as a zero tolerance.
Kamal sir, what do you have zero tolerance for in life?
I have a different take on tolerance. I'm a great fan of Mr. Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And I don't like the idea of tolerance when they say tolerate, especially maintain tolerance in Hindu-Muslim communication. What do you tolerate? You tolerate a headache, not a friend. So I think communities should accept each other as friends. And my zero tolerance is for tolerance itself. Don't tolerate.
Don't
Just
tolerate
accept
tolerance.
It. Accept it. Accept it, or say I don't accept it. Don't tolerate, because that will fester the wound, which is still happening after 75 years in India. My zero tolerance is for this misnomer called tolerance, which has been misused every time.
I guess for me, I don't know, I have zero tolerance for saying that one human being is superior to another human being because of where they were born or what circumstances they were born or whatever. I have zero tolerance for that kind of stupidity. I think all human beings are created absolutely equal.
What a wonderful, we need this thought. That last line especially that you said is something we need. Shankar sir, your films also have become pop culture icons. I don't know if you keep track of social media or if you have people in your team who tell you that your films are timeless in the sense that from Telephone Dhun Mein Hasne Wali, the kids today discussing those lyrics and dancing to it, to bringing Hindustani 2 in theaters now. Do you keep a tab on pop culture, what's hot, what's not? As a creative person, do people just tell you, give you feedback? You take it, maybe you imbibe it, you don't. How do you deal with this? This is cool these days, this is not cool these days.
I was listening music, all the time, like, years and years, I'd be listening to the latest music. and I'll be listening Hindi music sometime. I'm listening
Like, do you watch
English.
reels? Are you aware of this whole
Sorry?
reel fascination of making reels?
Reels, that also I'm seeing, because it's also a part of our observation, for how this social media generation, like how they react, and what they're seeing and what they want, and what they're doing. I have to constantly see what they're doing. So music wise, like even after.
Did you know Telephone Dhun Mein is going to become viral and a song that's going to stay relevant for so many years, because it's just absolutely ear candy. Like, you play it and your legs start thumping. The choreography, the visuals are so set in our mind. And then these lyrics, we all sang it that time. We didn't really pay much attention, but they're such fun lyrics, right? I mean, that time there was not so much importance paid to what does this really mean, but it's catchy, let's go with it. And you and Rahman create magic like nobody else does.
Yeah, regarding lyrics, actually in Tamil it's totally different, but the same word is there, telephone thing and all is there. When it came to translation in lyrics, the same translation, it sounded little, we thought, now we are thinking it could have been better. And but whatever, because of the composition and the orchestra and the music and the visualization, and sir is there, and Manisha, and good choreography, and kangaroos, llamas, and everything made that song memorable. And even now, people are liking that.
There's a way Sir creates music and music videos. So you can't just have 30 years of incredible songs and incredible videos. So there are two things I'll share with you. One is, there's a song in this film which is Dada Arare. When you see that video, it's a imagination and a style of choreography and a way of thinking, right from the lyric to the tune to the choreography to the costumes to the sets to the crowd. Everything is a Shankar spectacular, and it's designed to be like that. And the second part, when you see the song in the theaters, it's going to go nuts. It's a really incredible. I was very lucky to be in that song. It is such an exciting song to dance for. And the second thing is how he creates all these things. He has a direction. He has some of the best direction departments that I've seen. So he'll have a big set of people with whom he behaves like they're all friends. Like, he's very democratic, and they'll all sit together and write lyrics and make up tunes, and constantly in this script, what do we need to bring it to life? Right. So that's how he, right from Boys, which is one of the greatest music albums in Indian history. He's done it with every album of his. So you have to see the process.
Which
what
is
is
why
it
it
that
has a
makes
feel
them
of a
click?
music video. You're
So
right.
Shankar sir is a person, I've seen him work with his assistants. They all, there's no holding back. They pour that discussion, and the ideas come out. And I think even the fact that in Tamil this song is Tata Varare Kadara Veda Porare, which means Dada Arare sabki band bajane wala hai, that comes from a very young mindset, that you're taking a character like Senapati and you're doing this almost tapori kind of writing about him, like Kumar sir has written it in Hindi. So it's written with a certain energy that is, he tries to be as relevant and young as possible in the way he creates. That I've seen firsthand.
Wow, that's again a great insight to have. Kamal sir, I have to ask you, Senapati, what has Senapati given you? Because when you look at Senapati, or when you switch off, you go home, or when we look at the films, you're going to watch July 12th, Hindustani 2. What has Senapati given you, if I have to ask you, from one of the characters, several characters you've played?
Apart from the award, reward, there's a certain amount of calm that he has given, because I hope it happens to the audience as well, because as he said, the collective anger is still there in a lava stage ready for explosion. These kind of outlets will make them understand this is not the way to go. There are other ways, but you will have to practice it in your life rather than expect a vigilante to come and do it. Every one of us will have to be on the vigil. Otherwise, it's not going to work. One man talking about corruption. Somewhere, I think this film talks about that. So, and I'm for the first film, there is a question of disagreement for me, because it's a pedestrian dream. It can never become true. It's not a political answer to this corruption question. It's an epiphany. It's a dream. I hope this happens. But I think in this film, what I see, the difference, growth of Shankar society, all of us, and I think it's going in the right direction for me, is that what is your part? Okay, you want to come here and enjoy Senapati, what are you going to do about it? Is a question thrown at the audience in this film.
As you walk out of that theater.
Which makes it a better question to ask than say that I have answers.
Right. Shankar sir, for producers to be a part of a film like this, right? Budget, VFX, just the mounting is lavish. Talk to me a bit about Laika and how is it working with them? How is that equation like? Because you need to be hands-on as producers also when you have a baby like this that you need to deliver.
Yeah, actually, like we should appreciate the producer, Mr. Subhaskaran, because he's a passionate film producer. He loves movies. So actually this film is supposed to be produced by another producer. So when he heard that, so as a good friend, he called and spoke to me like, what's that Hindustani is my favorite film. This part you're doing with someone else. Please do it for me. So he asked, like, because he liked this movie very much, the part one. So then I went to that producer and convinced, and he took over the movie. And because he's so passionate, see, if my dream should come true means someone should put money and passion on that. Otherwise, my dreams will remain dreams only. So I appreciate, and without him, this film would have not been possible. I have to thank him for that.
Yeah, because we can't wait to watch it in theaters. The trailer itself has had us on the edge of our seats. It's got us thinking. It's got us making us want to ask questions. And I'm guessing when we leave that theater after watching it, we will have questions. We might speak about it. We might talk to our friends, relatives, go on social media, debate. It will start a conversation. I think that's the best thing that the film can do. I can't leave you without asking you this. The kids are doing this after the trailer. Could you just tell me exactly how does Senapati do that movement, the viral movement, and how did that come about? There's a certain timing to it.
We have a Verma school of martial arts. It's very much like the acupuncture, but works not in the medical side of it, but in a combat manner. It's disabling your opponent. It does exist, but there aren't many practitioners. It is even some schools in Kanyakumari, Nagarkoil, they still practice these Verma thing. Actually, there is a Verma expert who comes to our set.
Prakasham Kurukal from Kerala.
From Kerala. He is using this for treating various ailments in his patients, including epilepsy.
Yeah. And we introduced some new Varmas in this movie. Because the part one, the basic Varmas only we have
that
shown.
Was one that we have seen.
Now, actually, one Saint Agastya Munivar, 2000 years back, he wrote about this Varma art, and there are a lot of Varmas is there. So there are 108 Varma points in our body. So every Varma point, if you attack in a particular way, or they call mudras. The mudras means, so it's like this one mudra, and this is one mudra. There's a lot of mudras are there. So we use a lot of new mudras and new Varmas in this movie. That's very interesting. When I read that, it inspired me to bring into the scenes, When you see the movie, you will enjoy that. So we had one expert, that Prakasham Gurukal. He was there with us, all this Varma related scenes. And with his guidance, we shot this movie.
Wow, there is so much depth into the film. There are so many small aspects that have gone behind the making of this film, right? From the visual score to the background score to costumes to the characters that you set up. It's absolutely exciting. Can't wait to watch Hindustani 2 in worldwide hitting theaters on July 12th. Get off your seats, book those tickets, go watch it, and then talk about it. You like it, you don't like it, discuss the film, but do watch Hindustani 2 on July 12th. This was a pleasurable chat. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.